Now we're talking about protein. Protein is simply the one macronutrient that has no storage availability once we consume it. It's used to rebuild, it's used to repair, and it's used to restore cells of our body. So it's super important. But it gets no storage capacity. Fats get storage, carbohydrates get storage, protein, no storage. So we excrete that pretty quickly through urine and feces. But before we do, we use it for some pretty amazing things. Number one, how many calories is in a protein? 4. You remember that because it's less than half of what's in fats, the same as what's in carbohydrates. It is comprised of something called the building blocks of protein. Probably learned this in like a biology class, maybe in a nutrition class. But the building blocks of protein are your amino acids. There are, depending on what resource you read, 20 plus amino acids. And again, I've heard anywhere from 8 to 9. It changes sometimes depending upon who you're reading, but are essential, meaning you have to consume a food like an egg to get these amino acids in. And if you don't, then you're missing a large part of your nutrition. And honestly, when it comes down to the great debate that you're going to see based off of veganism and people who will consume meat, this is where they kind of tie up the most is, can you live with a vegan or a plant-based diet and get your amino acids? Well, yeah, you can, but the problem is you're going to be eating a lot of a couple of different things that have that complete amino acid profile. One of them is chia seeds. One of them is also the well, forgive me, I've just forgotten the seed, but it's another type of seed that will use that amino profile. So this is kind of the conundrum that the vegan or the plant-based dieters will face. May come from both plant and animal sources, but animal are always complete. And the most complete is that known as the egg. Now, that's in food source as an adult. The actual most complete, and I find this terribly interesting, so I must share, the actual most complete amino acid profile is in breast milk, because it was worked out that way that we would consume that directly from our mother and we would get the best nutrition right there. I'm such a big fan of that, and I have a lot to say about that. I wish we could talk more, but anyways, this is all stuff that we're going to use to build, repair, and also restructure things like muscle, things like bone, things like skin and hair. That should attract all of us right there. We want strong muscles, we want strong bones, we want good skin, and we want good hair. But this has to do with all tissue regeneration. But again, we have to recirculate that in because it doesn't stick around. It's not like we're taking in protein and it's hanging around waiting on it to be used. If we take in protein and we don't use it, it's gone. It's going to be excreted in the urine. And that is one of the fundamental processes. Now, there are some markers like creatinine that tells us, oh, by the way, you're taking in too much protein, blah, 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 your creatinine levels are high. Okay, I get that. And I'm not trying to shun you away from monitoring that. What I'm saying, though, is there are a lot of ways we can use protein. And if you exercise regularly, you're going to use more protein, and so you're going to need more protein. And that kind of comes up with this bullet right here that recommendations, they vary. So if you're a sedentary person, you're going to get away with about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein and be fine. But if you exercise, you need to just go ahead and double that because your muscles, your bones, and all those other structures in your body, like ligaments and tendons, they need that regeneration to happen very quickly. Qualities also mitigate your absorption, and that comes from the fact that, you know, if you eat a steak, you're going to get all these great amino acids. If you eat some beans, you're going to get some amino acids, but between the two, you're looking for those essential amino acids because they're going to ensure that the uptake of that protein happens. Even an egg, if you consume an egg that has 6 grams of protein, you may only get about 3 of those uptaked because you might miss out because of the essential amino acids that are not in eggs. Again, they're not the perfect, they're just the best thing we currently eat because we don't use breast milk throughout our lifespan. Qualities mitigate absorption. Think about that the next time you're standing in your local GNC, Walmart, or sporting goods store and you're staring at protein and you're thinking about which tub of protein to buy. There's a great little article right here about what should you eat for protein. This article comes from Harvard Health. I hope you really take into consideration the assignment that we use with this article. I look forward to seeing you in the next and nearly final module video for this module, and that is vitamins and minerals. Again, we'll be seeing you very, very soon.